All right, folks, it's time to kick it up a notch. Module 6, what can you do to wow your customer every time? Now remember, we're going back, customer is represents your internal and external relationships. And so in this competitive business landscape, what are some things that you can do? And we've talked about a lot of them. That emotional intelligence are going to change your game. Your energy, your attitude will change your game. Communication skills and managing conflict will change your game. But let's talk about some more things to help you make a hugely great impression on your connections and build a more effective network. All right. So 10 things, let's just recap. We're going to revisit some of the things that we've already talked about, but we're also going to add some other things because we want to definitely wow your customer, your coworker, and your boss. Number one, I know I've said attitude so many times, I probably could have a dime and be rich for every time I said the word attitude. However, having a good attitude is easy when you feel like it, but what about those days when you don't feel like it? So one of the things that I have worked on hoping and trying to master, and I work on it every day, is even on days where I'm exhausted, on days when people are not acting the way I want them to act, how can I take control of my attitude? So sometimes what we can do are some physical things will help your attitude. That means smiling. You've heard of faking it until you make it. Having a smile, having some good posture, having that energy, guess what happens? You end up feeling that way. So even if it's not real at first, use your body to support you. Do the things that reflect a good attitude and you will feel it later on in the day. Try it today. Hopefully you're having a good day, eating something good, got good rest, but try that today with your attitude. The other thing is be helpful even if there's no profit in it. It does not always have to benefit us, but how about the spirit of service? There is always benefit in the spirit of service. We may not be able to tangibly touch it, but what you are able to give is what it's all about. So can you make others feel that you're their primary concern? I went to Paris. I had a lovely time in Paris a couple years ago. I was on a train, and there was a woman sitting next to me with a carriage. She had a baby. I'm also a mother, so I really related to her. She sat next to me, and she started talking to me in French. Now, folks, I don't speak a word of French. She had so much to share. She even shed a couple of tears. I sat there and listened to her, and at some point, I even just gave her a nice smile. And she talked and talked and talked, and then at the end she wiped her tears and she said, "Thank you." I asked someone on the train, I said, I didn't understand a word that she said, but what did she say at the end? And she said, "Thank you so much for listening to me. You really made my day. I needed someone to talk to." So I was able just to show up for someone, don't know where she is out in the world, but I felt like in that moment, why couldn't I have just been quiet, listening to a person share and not really fully getting it, but that gift of listening is wonderful. There are many things that we can do on a regular basis. Just open your hand. What do you have? Share what you have with the world, even if there's no profit in it for you. The third thing, know your product or industry. This is something you have control over. It's called expertise power. You can get online, you can understand who the movers and the shakers are, you can know the mission, you can know the values, you can understand the politics. Knowing what's happening in your world, your technical world, will change the way in which you're able to contribute. Ever ask yourself, geez, everybody sometimes seems really, really smart, like they know what's going on. There are times when you feel a little bit out of the box. It's not because there's some brilliance that happened in the womb when they were babies, but it's because they take some time to invest in knowing. Some people have a value system of, it is my value system to be in the know, and you can do that too. And right now with technology, go ahead and Google. There's so much information that you can find, so many things that you can gain within an organization. All right, so having a good attitude. Being of service, even if there's no profit. Knowing your product or service and your industry, these are things that will wow your customers, bosses, and coworkers every time. All right, moving on to a couple more things, folks. Avoid making others feel inadequate. One of my life philosophies is this, and I got this actually from a guru that I listened to. My life philosophy, I've taken it from her, is that when I am in someone else's presence, I hope that they leave my presence feeling motivated or uplifted, but never to leave my presence feeling diminished in any way. How do people feel when they're around you? Maya Angelou says that they don't remember what people say, and sometimes we do not remember what people do, but many of you can finish the quote. What do you remember, folks? Yep, you remember how people made you feel. That is the power of building relationships, not only personally, but it has the same impact in your professional world. Okay. So how do people feel when they're around you? Listen more than you talk. Again, I said we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth because we're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk. What's ironic about that, folks, is that we already have information in our brain, so we've got a lot of intel about what's going on in our own brain. So the whole point of going out in the world is what we're able to learn from others. So if you are not a good listener, you are depriving yourself from an experience that is broad and exciting and interesting. So listen and learn. Come out of your mind and think about what others need to expand your experience, improve your knowledge, improve your expertise, and become more valuable. Almost lost my breath on that one. And then lastly, can you practice the art of respecting people at every level of the organization? And let me tell you what I mean by that. Walt Disney, there is a story that they tell about the way that organization functioned. And one of the things that they did for creativity was they allowed everyone within the organization, even down to the people that clean the floors, contribute ideas about what was happening within the organization. For some of us, we walk into an organization and we make some choices. I respect those that have a title behind their names and wear a suit. And for those that don't seem that they're in high positions, I may think they're okay to ignore. That is something we do not want to do. Everybody within the organization has value, and a way for you to model that and shift your culture is to have respect at every level. The way you treat your boss, who has the hiring and firing power, should be the same respect, the same consideration that you extend to those that work with you and those who work for you or those who work alongside of you, anyone that supports. So next time, for those of you that are working within an organization, did you say good morning to the person that's emptying the trash? Say thank you to the person that's filling up the coffee machine or emptying out the trash. This is really, really important to have respect at all levels. It sets the stage for leadership and sets the stage for building effective relationships. One more thing that's in it for you, just another plug for this respect. You never know where people are going. They may not be where they always are. I've actually seen organizations where someone that you may have been managing may get promoted on a fast track, and so they might be managing you. And so it's very important within the workplace that we respect everyone and we acknowledge contributions. All right, you've got your 10 wow factors. You go ahead and review those. You're going to have a little bit of a test on this at the end of the module, but hopefully you have some things to think about. I will see you in module 7. We're just going to wrap up with a couple of motivational things to support you on your journey to building and maintaining powerful and effective relationships.